And my question actually is, who dragged Mexico into hosting the World Cup? Why was Mexico even at it in the first place? I don't really have a script or a plan on how I'm going to make this video, but I feel like I had to address something because it's rather alarming. I mean, look at the situation on what's going on in the world right now between the United States and Mexico, and the fact that we have a World Cup about 4 months from now. I do not know how to express what I need to express without getting too overly political, but I feel like I need to make this video because I want to express a bit of my frustration with how things are being handled and the whole organizational aspect of things within the FIFA organization, and literally with 3 governments right now. I do not think that neither country, maybe the United States is a little bit more prepared, but neither country, especially Mexico, is prepared to host a big event like the World Cup, especially with the disaster and the violence that's occurring right now in the state of Mexico. And literally, I got lucky that I went back here to the United States, back home, before the whole thing started, before the arrest of infamous kingpin cartel boss El Mencho. I'm going to be as brief as I can about this, but I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of a summary of the story. Basically, Sunday morning, early in the morning, like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, the Mexican military commenced an operation where they wanted to capture the infamous drug lord El Mencho, and I guess they found him in one of the cabins in the city of Tapalpa, and they pretty much surrounded him. There was a gunfight, and Mencho came out injured, and 2 other of his security team, or his higher up commanding officers, also died. Apparently, they took him on a plane or on a helicopter. He died en route or in transition to Mexico City to be extradited, and that's it. They captured him. What ensued after this capture was that his members, or his cartel soldiers, quote unquote, or thugs, as you may call them, started a rampage of violence. The whole state of Jalisco, especially in the city of Guadalajara, they grabbed cars and pretty much set them on fire, blocked roads, shooting guns everywhere, bullets flying everywhere. Just things were chaotic and out of control. The Mexican government still hasn't resolved the issue, and apparently yesterday morning they said that everything was under control, but on social media, reports of everything being under control are somewhat questioned, because there's still videos of these cartel members causing mayhem, especially in little towns. Bigger cities, it has calmed down a little bit, but it now comes to question, this country is supposed to host a World Cup in 4 months, and everyone's highly concerned due to security issues. I mean, if you have these thugs running around the streets, nobody knows what's going to happen. If you have these thugs running around the streets right now and causing mayhem, I mean, what is that going to do for tourism? What is it going to do to the events? What is that going to mean for the safety of the players of the different countries? I mean, Spain is a country that's set to play in Guadalajara, and they're concerned. Portugal was supposed to play in Mexico, but that got changed. But they're supposed to also play a friendly versus Mexico in the next upcoming month. How does this look to the world? How does this situation look? And I'm not saying that we did not expect this. Look, we knew that the capture of a kingpin or a boss, cartel boss, their soldiers, their thugs were going to go all out and cause mayhem. But I believe the Mexican government should have done better planning strategically to how to prevent these violent outbreaks from occurring. They should have a military in place, the Mexican military, some type of security to prevent things from escalating out of control. And I am disappointed because it does give this side of the world a very bad look, because not only does it give Mexico a bad look, the United States also is dragged into this mess. I mean, you already have a microscope into the United States because of the current president right now doing immigration raids. Right now, ICE is a hot topic in the country? And how do you expect for the message of immigration to have the immigrants from other countries come into the United States to view a soccer game? How are they going to feel welcomed if there's that rhetoric being spit right now in the United States? It's very concerning. Canada is probably just chilling in the background, and I don't see Canada having anything to do with the World Cup. I think they just went along from the party. But from my perspective, if there's already kind of a narrative being painted for the United States, imagine Mexico. And my question actually is, who dragged Mexico into hosting the World Cup? Why was Mexico even at it in the first place, knowing that their economy is not as stable? There's a lot of insecurity. There's a lot of unrest. There always has been, actually, because for the past 40 years, I think the last time Mexico hosted the World Cup was in the 1980s, and drug trafficking wasn't as big as it is right now. Let's just be sincere. It just wasn't. I mean, there was a kingpin here and there, but they weren't as big. They weren't as notorious, and they weren't as violent. They literally had maybe control of a couple towns, a couple local police, but they did not have control of an entire country. That was then. That was the last time Mexico hosted the World Cup. But right now, it's a different climate. And whoever thought that Mexico was capable of hosting a World Cup and added them to this 3-country hosting complexity of things, I don't know who thought that up. And I want to know why. Why was Mexico added? I understand Mexico is a beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. There's a lot of tourism. If the violence isn't there, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say this in the nicest way possible, but Mexico should have been the last option to be looked at to host a World Cup. The country is unstable. The country itself, the government itself, is not the most reputable right now in regards of being a nation that is standing on the right things in the world. There's a lot of rumors, and again, I don't want to get too political, but it does sound like the government of Mexico was being ran by these powerful drug cartel members. And to be quite honest with you, this is just a bad look. How are we supposed to go through with this? How are fans from outside of the world want to visit Mexico? How is Mexico going to do with the tourism? You know what I mean? The economy is going to take a hit. I'm just so sad for the country. I hope they get their stuff together, but it does come into question. I mean, you got Portugal, they have a friendly, and they're already, expressing concerns. And this is not a good look. This is not a good. They put up a statement. As you can see right here, this is their statement. I can't read Portuguese, but they are concerned about what's going on. How is Mexico supposed to host a World Cup like that when bodies, actually, if you guys don't know this, bodies, hundreds, about 400 to 500 bodies were found buried near the stadium of Guadalajara. Yes, that is true. I am not lying. 400 to 500 bodies were found buried close to a proximity walking distance of the Akron Stadium in Guadalajara. And Akron Stadium is one of the three stadiums in Mexico that's going to host the World Cup. Explain that to me. You have thugs running around the streets of Mexico who are going to hurt the economy, hurt the government, hurt the reputation, hurt tourism. I don't see how the city that's hosting the World Cup in less than 4 months is. Look at this video. I mean, if you guys want to see.
Love is a burning thing, animates a fiery ring. Bang, bagwal desire, I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire.
I mean, those are real images. I'm not even lying. Those are real images. You know, there were reports here of a fire too. Look at this.
Está justo a un costado del inmueble futbolístico. No sabemos todavía las causas. Hubo pirotecnia, no sabemos si vaya por ahí el asunto, pero se ve fuerte, se ve grave. Ojalá lo controlen pronto.
I mean, I don't know. You got these tweets here. New York Times themselves. And this is, I guess, is it real? I don't know. But New York Times have told The Athletic that a senior official said that FIFA had been worried about the cartel violence in Mexico and warned that the World Cup playoff games may be relocated if the safety of all participants and stakeholders cannot be swiftly guaranteed. And, you know, you got this guy from Mexico saying the biggest threat to fan safety during the World Cup is ICE. Listen, I don't want to get too political, but that is nothing compared to actual people dying, innocent people walking down the streets and just having the threat of getting shot at just for being outside. You got cartels having so much power, they implement curfews. Don't come out from 2 p.m. and going onward, because if you get caught outside, you're dead. That's what's happening in Mexico. That's the country that's going to host the World Cup. Beautiful country. Like I said, it's beautiful. Tourism, the culture, everything is lovely. But if they can't control the violence, I do agree with the New York Times, unfortunately. Move the games somewhere else. I'm sorry, but Mexico is not capable. They shouldn't be capable. If the United States, which is the quote-unquote safest country in the world, they're having a little bit of issues internally. I'm not going to disagree with that. To have ICE presence in front of all the games, that's a little too much. I don't agree with that. In order to have the threat of like, oh, if you don't leave back to your country after the World Cup, you're going to hunt you down. Like, come on, bro. Let's tone it down a little bit. If they're facing the pressure for that and people calling the World Cup to be canceled in the United States, how the hell is Mexico, which is one of the worst countries right now regarding violence, regarding safety, is being overlooked? They cannot, absolutely not, host the World Cup in these conditions. Absolutely not. And with that, I'll end that, because I've tried to just express my thoughts as kindly as I can, but I have to let you know, they cannot host the World Cup, unfortunately. And we'll see what FIFA does. We'll see what they decide ultimately. And I hope Mexico gets their shit together. But right now, specifically right now, it doesn't look good for the government, for the people. And it's going to be the most saddest things ever if they have to strip the World Cup from Mexico, because I know people in Mexico looking forward to that. I know people in Mexico who are looking forward to the games, being a part of something special. And unfortunately, because of some thugs, that party has to be taken away from everybody. That pride has to be taken away from everybody. These thugs, they don't give a fuck about the Mexican citizen. It's either them or nothing, and they will take it away. If they are bent down to the will of their cartel boss being shot down, if they really, really cared, they would at least stay back and wait until the World Cup shenanigans was over, but they do not. And I'm telling you right now, Mexico has a serious problem. A very serious one. And they need to go through some steps to clean up house. Trump is trying to clean up house in the World Cup. Regardless if you agree with his politics or don't agree with his politics, he has been trying to go into Democrat cities, because Democratic cities are not also the best cities right now. I mean, look at Los Angeles. It's a zombie. It's an apocalypse over there. I'm not lying. If you want to go to LA, take a drive down there. It looks bad. It looks horrible. Seattle, Chicago. There's these big major cities that are poised to host a World Cup, and Trump knows that. And he's cleaning up those cities. Why can't Mexico do the same? Especially with now this arrest. Can't you guarantee the safety of at least the Mexican citizens? I'm getting too political. All right, I gotta step back. But I do want to say Mexico should not host the World Cup unless they clean their shit. There is some action and there is some accountability and deal with the violence that's occurring, that's spreading across the country like wildfire, because it's not gonna get better anytime soon. These cartel gangs will fight each other for control, and it's about to get bloody and bloodier and bloodier if there is no control over the chaos that's about to presume within the country of Mexico. And I will feel sorry for you if you are in Mexico during the World Cup and you get caught under friendly fire or whatever you may call it, because they're gonna, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? But as of now, they need to get that World Cup taken away from them. And with that, these are my thoughts. These are rambling thoughts. These are ranting thoughts. These are what I feel right now in the moment. So again, if you disagree with me, let me know. Comment down below and you can even message me. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. I'm open to a discussion here. All right? Peace out, guys. Have a good one.